Greetings and welcome to the Astronomy Picture of the Day podcast. Today's picture for March 14th of 2025 is titled Moon Pie and Mountain Shadow. So what do we see here? Well, here we see a person standing at the top of a mountain looking out in the distance and watching the moon rising off in the distance. Now, what do we mean by moon pie? Well, the full moon is going to be 180 degrees away from the sun. So that would be the instant of full moon would be exactly when it is opposite to the sun in the sky. So 180 degrees in another angle measure called radians is 3.14 radians. And that of course is pi radians. So pi radians 180 degrees. So at this point the moon is pi radians or 180 degrees from the sun. Now we can see its coloration here looking a little red because it is low in the atmosphere. And when you're looking through a lot of atmosphere, that will absorb the shorter wavelengths of light, making things look a little bit redder. And you notice that with the moonrise or moonset, but you can also notice it even easier with the sunrise and the sunset, as the sun will change its color as it gets lower and lower in the sky. Now we also see the shadow here, and that's the shadow of the mountain peak off in the distance there. And just like the earth casts a shadow, so does the mountain. And we can actually see that off in the distance here. And note that the moon is just a little bit above this shadow off over in this image. Now the Earth casts a shadow as well, which sometimes can land on the moon. And the times that it would land on the moon are when the moon is full. Now this doesn't happen every month, although we do have a full moon every month. But you can see it, and you can actually see this shadow on days of a lunar eclipse. And that would include today. So this morning we had a lunar eclipse where the moon passed into Earth's shadow and would have first started to disappear, becoming a very thin crescent at the time, and then eventually becoming a deep blood red moon when it is deepest in the Earth's shadow. Now, why does it not disappear altogether if it's in the shadow? And that's because our Earth's shadow is not completely dark. And the reason for that is that Earth has the atmosphere. Because we have an atmosphere, some of the light is bent through there. And the light that is bent best to get through the atmosphere is the red. So the red light fills up the Earth's deepest part of the shadow, making the moon look a very deep blood red. So if you had a chance to see the moon early in the early hours this morning, you would have seen the moon looking a very deep red and much fainter than it normally is as well. And that's because, again, it's in the shadow. So it's not being illuminated directly by the sun for that period of time. It is only being illuminated by that little bit of sunlight that is scattered into Earth's shadow. So here we get to see an example of that for a different reason here, because the sun is low in the sky. But we also had the lunar eclipse that occurred earlier this morning. So that was our picture of the day for March 14th of 2025. It was titled Moon Pie and Mountain Shadow. We'll be back again tomorrow for the next picture. So until then, have a great day, everyone. And I will see you in class.